Hello, and welcome back to Learn the Bible in a Year for May 14th, 2026. Today is Dance Like a Chicken Day. Well, I actually dance like a chicken every single time I dance, whether I like it or not, so joke's on you, I'm way ahead of you on this holiday. Today, we are going to be covering Dan's idolatrous migration, one of Judges' darkest scenes, and then Jesus as the light of the world. And we're going to finish up with David's prayer for help that we're going to read out loud together. So let's jump right into it. All right, so today's Old Testament reading is Judges 18 and 19, and it's one of these sections where the Bible is not giving us inspirational refrigerator magnet material. It's showing us the collapse of a society when covenant faithfulness, justice, and worship have come apart. It's a rough one. So Judges 18 continues the story of Micah's shrine. Now, the tribe of Dan has not secured its allotment territory, and so they send spies looking north for another place. The spies find Micah's house and recognize the Levite and ask for religious reassurance. Later, the tribe returns and steals a carved image and another shrine objects and persuades the Levite to come to their priest instead. Now, the logic is painfully practical. Why serve one household when you can serve a whole tribe? The Levite upgrades his platform, which is a very ancient version of taking a bigger job while ignoring every ethical problem in the room. Dan then attacks Laish, which is a quiet, unsuspecting city. They burn it and then rebuild it and install the stolen idol. The chapter connects this idolatry with a long lasting shrine. The point is not merely that Dan relocated, it is that a tribe of Israel builds its future around stolen religion and violence. Now, a question that you and I might have here is why does Judges keep saying that there is no king? And no, the book is not simply campaigning for monarchy, it is showing the absence of righteous order. Without faithful leadership and covenant obedience, people redefine worship, justice, sexuality, and power according to what seems right to them. They're basically like blind guides, as Jesus calls it in the New Testament. Now, Judges 19 is even darker. A Levite travels to retrieve his concubine, that's a red flag, and receives hospitality in Bethlehem, and later stops in Gibeah, which is a Benjamite town. The story deliberately echoes the horror of Sodom. Men of the city surround the house with violent intent, and the night ends in abuse and death. The chapter is meant to literally horrify us. It is not in any way approving the actions of this Levi, the host, or the mob. It is exposing the moral collapse inside of Israel itself. The final act, where the Levite dismembers the woman's body and sends pieces throughout Israel, forces the nation to confront what it has become. Israel has completely become its own worst enemy, and we're going to see this play out even more in the next couple chapters. But for now, we're going to jump into the New Testament again, and we're in John chapter 8, verses 12 through 30. After scenes of controversy in Jerusalem, Jesus speaks again and identifies himself as the light of the world. In the setting of temple debates and festival imagery, light is not a decorative metaphor. It carries the weight of God's guidance, revelation, and life. The Pharisees challenge his testimony because, they're Pharisees, that's what they do. And he is speaking, of course, about himself. Jesus answers that he knows where he came from and where he is going, while they judge according to limited human categories. In John, that contrast is literally everywhere. People evaluate Jesus from below, Jesus speaks from above. He also says that his judgment is not isolated because the Father who sent him bears witness with him. The leaders ask where his Father is, revealing again that they do not understand his identity. They are using legal categories, but they are missing the relationship at the center of his mission. Now, a question you might have here is, why does Jesus keep talking about being sent? Well, in John's gospel, being sent explains both his authority and his obedience. Jesus is not a freelance religious teacher with interesting metaphors. He acts and speaks as the Son sent by the Father, revealing the Father and carrying out the Father's work. Now, John notes that no one arrests him because his hour has still not come yet. We've heard this phraseology throughout the last couple chapters. And that phrase reminds us that the cross will not happen because Jesus loses control of these events. He goes to the cross when his mission is accomplished. Then Jesus warns that his opponents will seek him and not be able to come where he is going. They misunderstand again, wondering if he means a physical death by his own hand. Now, Jesus clarifies the deeper divide. They are from below and he is from above. The issue is not travel logistics, it is origin, identity, and unbelief. When Jesus speaks of being lifted up, John lets us hear the double meaning here. Lifted up will include the shame of crucifixion, but also the revelation of who he is. The cross will expose human rejection and divine purpose at the same time. Now, this section ends with many believing as he speaks. John does not present belief as a simple crowd enthusiasm. He will continue testing what that belief actually means. But here in the middle of the hostility, the light is still shining, and some are beginning to see. All right, finishing up today, we are reading in Psalms 60, verses 5 through 12, and it goes like this. Save us and help us with your right hand, and that those who love may be delivered. God has spoken from his sanctuary. In triumph, I will parcel out Shechem and measure of the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim is my helmet, and Judah is my scepter. Moab is my wash basin, and Edom I toss my sandal. Over Philistia I shout in triumph. Who will bring me to the fortified city? Who will lead me to Edom? Is it not you, God? You have now rejected us and no longer go out with our armies. Give us aid against the enemy, for human help is worthless. With God, we will gain the victory and will trample down our enemies. All right. What was your main takeaway from today's reading? Believe it or not, my main takeaway is actually from what we read in Judges. Now, those chapters in Judges are very, very hard to read because they're very, very dark. But the reason why it's my main takeaway is because, I don't know, I think it's easy for us to live in the modern world, and our culture is constantly screaming that, oh, things are generally good. The grass is always greener on the other side. Or I guess more importantly, people are overall pretty good. We're more good than bad, at least, and we're getting better all the time. And well, unfortunately, that's definitely not true. And these stories here in Judges shows us how bad human beings can get if we ignore and reject God. If we reject God, there's really no limit to the amount of cruel and undignified things that human beings are willing to do. And these stories remind us of that. But what was your main takeaway from today? I'd be curious to know. Put it down in the comment section wherever it is that you listen to this podcast. And that is the end of today's episode, and I will see all of you cool cats again here tomorrow.